I need to turn the thing down so I can look at myself. You know, I'm an egotistical maniac. This was not going to be a video, but somehow it turned into video because I was sitting here watching videos and I was like, hey, I need to make a video on this, so I'm going to make a video. Hey guys, welcome to Tiny House Customs. I'm Dan. You guys always want to see the inside of my house, and this is it, okay? I live in this damn thing while I'm building it. So it's a disaster. So pretty much from here on out, whenever I do anything inside, I'm going to try to organize it in a way. But I mean, that just looks like a cluttered mess. That is my closed storage system that I've got going on. A compressor, tools like you wouldn't believe over in that corner. My suit hanging in the corner. I mean, it's a mess. It's a disaster. But basically this video is going to be a hodgepodge. It's probably going to be titled like Tiny House, Direct TV, Split Mini Duct, what else? Maybe propane. It's going to be a lot of stuff. Basically today I have DirecTV coming installing cable. That's a whole nother story. I'll get into it really quickly. I got a new cell phone. I have a 20 gigabyte data plan. When I got the new cell phone, I used 16 gigabytes in the first 5 days, and I only have 20 gigabytes. So something was wrong with the phone. Obviously I had different settings on it and I didn't know, and I used a bunch of things. So I called, complained. They said they couldn't do anything, but they could give me unlimited data if I purchased DirecTV. I asked how much. They said $30 a month. Still have not yet to see that bill, so I don't know if that's true. I'm getting DirecTV and I have unlimited data. So before I get DirecTV, I know they're going to install a little box on the back of the house, right on that big, you know, PVC panel I made. I had already allocated all that PVC to other things, and so I need to do things before he gets here so that I'm okay. I don't want to screw myself, and I don't want to have to cut in and put a new block in. So I'm running the lines right now. This is the split mini duct lines right here. I purchased the upgraded version. I got 25 feet. I think it's like a 1/4 inch and then maybe 1/2 inch, maybe 3/8 inch copper line. It's semi-flexible. You don't want to kink it. These two lines need to run from the unit that's on the outside of your house to the unit that'll go on the inside. I'm going to be mounting it right here, I hope. That's my plan. So I need to run these two lines down this wall, down into my crawl space, and then out the back. So you can see all the plumbing that I have down there, everything, the water tanks, the feed lines. It's absolutely chaotic. And these two copper lines are probably the most difficult things to run out the back. The propane line is going to be another pain in the butt. So I drilled 2 holes there. I did an 1.25 inch bit and drilled down, and I drilled it on an angle so that I wouldn't have to come straight down and then bend it. I kind of led in the direction that I wanted to go. Because there's a drain pipe right here, I needed to miss that. The water tanks, there's feed lines, all that stuff I needed to miss. So I kind of angled it down so that it would feed it into the correct direction. And that's what I've been doing now, is just feeding these down. I went onto the outside of the house, which I'll show you in a little bit, and I mounted the fuse box. The fuse box is going to have an electrical line coming into it, and that's got a lot of flexibility. So I mounted that electrical box for the split mini, and then I figured out where these two lines will have to go out so I don't hit any studs, and it's a clean run out. So I drilled those 2 holes. I did one that was 1.25 inches and then one that was 3/4. So I'm really not going to be able to film any of this. Oh, the AC's on downstairs. Oh, that feels great right there. Ooh. Oh my God. I cannot wait for this house to be electrocuted, insulated, and an air conditioning unit. Oh, well, heating. Apparently this winter is going to be pretty bad. Farmer's Almanac said it's going to be one of the worst evers. So I did call about 7 or 8 HVAC guys today to get a price because these need to be vacuumed out. I did watch Mr. Seth try to do it, and I don't think it was too successful. So I figure spending 150, 200 bucks, whatever it'll be, would be great. I called a bunch of companies, voicemails, secretaries. Nobody knew the answer to what I wanted to know. And finally, after leaving a bunch of voicemails, I got a couple calls back, and one guy said he'd do it for 100 bucks. So, and I told him, I'll give you cash. I don't want a receipt like you were never here before. One company was concerned, saying that since they're not doing the full installation, that they're kind of concerned about that. They don't want to do it. And I'm like, whatever. So the bigger companies are going to be kind of hard to work with, but Joe's HVAC will be fine. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? I think it made sense to me. Dick's Automotive. So I need to get these lines and give myself some slack outside. I'll probably have the guy recut them and flare them out and make it a good fitting. And then I need to run these 2 lines up here, drill 2 holes here, mount a piece of recessed plywood into this so I have a good mounting surface, or maybe I'll do 2x4s and then a piece of plywood on top of it, which will be hidden underneath the air conditioning unit. And then when I do my tongue and groove, it'll go underneath the AC unit just a little bit. Show it to you. It'll happen eventually. When I tell you it's hot, I'm not even shitting you. It might as well be like 300 degrees. I can't even begin to tell you. So when he comes to do the DirecTV guy comes, I'm gonna have him run all the coax cable. Coax cable is the cable wire, basically. So I'm gonna basically ask him to give me the coil, the spool of wire. I'm gonna tell him to go hook up the satellite dish, and I'm gonna run the lines. I've already drilled all the holes, and I mounted some boxes for the coax cable. My TV's gonna go here, but the entertainment portion of the thing will be down here. I bought these little covers. So the feed wire will come down, go to this box. It'll go to something like this right here. And then I'll have another wire that goes out that box up to this box. So when I do have a cable box, I can hook it up to this one. And then the out feed wire, I can hook it up to this one. And it'll go up behind the wall and come out here. I will, before I close these walls in, run a 2-inch pipe probably from here down to here, so that I can run all my HDMI cables, everything underneath the wall. So when the TV's mounted and there's this entertainment center down here, there's no wires right here. I'll have an electrical box. Everything will be behind the TV, so you won't see it. Planning ahead, way ahead, months, years. That sucks. So originally on this, I had everything spaced out more. I didn't have these wires or these lines coming so close to this box, but I have a feeling that box that he's going to have is going to be literally like 7 inches wide. So I'm going to use this space for his box, and then right here I'll do another hole, and that's where my propane line will go in. So I'll have these 2 feed lines coming in as well as the propane line. And then this is the breaker box for the split mini. I screwed it on, and then I drilled a hole into the house for the electrical wire. And I'm not sure if there's electrical wire that runs from the split mini to the other unit, or like how there's 2 pieces. I'm not sure. We're gonna learn. We're gonna learn together. All right, let's go inside and force these out. I need them to be about right here. Really could use a second person. Oh, that looks good. I just don't like how it's running right in front of the box now. I don't like that. I want to bend down here and curve up into it. I want 4 feet of outs. 2, 3, another foot. Ah, I feel like that was enough. Looking good in the hood. Let's hope this guy shows up soon, right? You're inside.
I didn't want to be inside. I was outside, but you made me come inside, so that's not fair.
So this is the unit that goes inside your house. I think I already broke it. Did I break it? Looks like I broke it. It says it needs to be 6 inches from the ceiling. I've got like 4.5 there, and then like 8. So the average of that is what? 6.5, right? I think so. I think I did my math right. Maybe I'll write a number down there being correct. So I'm gonna hold this up there and see if I like it. I've already noticed a problem that I'm having. This point right here, from here to here, is about an inch deep there. So let's remember that number, 1 inch. Okay, oh boy. So the way that gets mounted on there is with this little bracket right here. So if do I go there or do I go there? Where do I go from here? So stop texting me. Stop. Not interested, honey. Okay? I'm building the damn tiny house. I got other priorities, okay, hun? So if I put this thing on there, lock it into where it's got to go, and I measure, meaning I need a tape measure, do some thinking, right? So if I hold an inch in, let's do an inch from there, from the bottom of the thing to the bottom of the bracket, I got an inch and a quarter. That's a big one. God, that thing was huge. Inch and a quarter. Good? You with me? Is everyone following me? So I know I need to mount this thing. So the bottom of this is an inch and a quarter from the bottom of my 2x4. Inch and a quarter, really? Yeah, that's what I figured out earlier. So on the bottom section here, I'm going to have pipes that need to run. So I can't have any obstructions here. So I'll hold this roughly at an inch and a quarter. I will mark right here and mark right here. And then I got some 2x4 material. Put that in at that black line. I need to be up. I need to be up about a foot and a half. I'm gonna use a stool. I made this from scratch. There's a video on it. It's my oldest video ever. You can check it out. Just go to my YouTube page and click on videos, and then in the top right corner there'll be a thing that says oldest to newest, or newest to oldest, or most popular. You click on oldest, it'll be the first video. So I'm gonna screw all this stuff together just in case it all needs to come taken apart or something, like I screw up at life. Good. And then I'll put another one right on top of it. You with me? So now I got a firm surface to mount this bracket onto, and for it to be good, right? But the only problem is I'm gonna put tongue and groove boarding on this wall. So I need to pad this thing out so that my tongue and groove can go behind it. Now, if you were doing this step while you were doing your tongue and groove step, then it would be fine. You could just do your tongue and groove underneath it, but I am not. So what I need to do is just put a piece of 3/4 inch plywood behind there. So would you believe this? But I cut a piece of 3/4 inch plywood, and I took into consideration all that shit that needs to be taken into consideration. Looks good to me. So now I can mount this on here. But this bracket does not sit into the center of that thing, so I can't just center it over my doorway. And since I want the unit to be centered in this opening, I guess it doesn't matter. Well, maybe it does. This is one of those steps that, like, shit, it gets me later when I'm doing like my thing right here. So 30.5 is 15 and a quarter. I mean, the washer can't be more than 26 inches, hopefully. Ooh, man, I don't want it to be off center. Now, I know nothing, but I'm gonna try to figure it out on the fly. Yeah, I'm gonna throw up. Inch and a quarter. Inch and a quarter. Just for the old shits and giggles. 83. Holy shit. It's almost like I meant to do what I did when I done. I got an inch and a half, and I've got flush. So you fucked up somewhere. Somewhere you lost 3/4. I know it doesn't look good to you because it's like angled up and shit, but once it locks in, it'll be alright. It's good to side. Everything is copacetic about that. So since this piece of plywood is smaller than the actual unit, when I do my tongue and groove boarding, I'll just butt it into this thing all the way around, and then that unit right there will cover all those seams. So you won't see that there's a piece of plywood back here. Now I need to run these 2 lines through this stud, so I'm just going to drill 2 holes right here. Don't want to cut this out since this is its rigidity right here, the way it's built. The 2 holes are going to be taking away some of that rigidity, so if you hit it really hard, it might break. But I don't want to cut a notch into this thing. I've seen people do it. Wrong. You're taking away a lot of structural rigidity, especially if this was an exterior wall. Do not cut a king stud out of a wall. It is so crucial. Don't do that. Even though it's not load bearing, I'm not going to do it. But good? Did you get me? Pick up what I'm throwing down? It sounds like it's breaking it. I'm the worst carpenter in the world. I hate sawdust. It's the most annoying shit in the freaking world. So on the back side of the unit, you're gonna have these two, I'll call them refrigerant lines, but they're probably not refrigerant lines. They are something and something, a supply and a return, I would assume. What is that noise? And when you get the unit, they're coming straight down in this direction. But the way I've got all my pipes running and all this shit, I need to turn it around so it's coming back the other way. So to do this whole project, I went and bought a bunch of tools right here. This was like $60. A tube bender, a flaring device, and a pipe cutter. So I already bent these two pipes. I kinked the smaller one because I didn't know what I was doing. If you're going to use one of these tools, test it out on some scrap piece or something. The big coil that you have, it's going to be way longer than you need, hopefully. If it's not, you kind of screwed yourself. But cut off a little chunk and learn how to use the tool before you start doing crucial bending like this. That was stupid. So what I'm going to do right now is figure out where these bends need to be in so they're not in the way of the bracket. You follow me? Man, I hate the mess. I hate it. I can't tell you enough how much I hate the mess. So this pipe right here is a drain pipe. It's going to collect a lot of the condensation. This is another thing that I have to run. It's not as important, and it's got way more flexibility than these copper lines, so I'm not really worrying about that right now, but it is another thing that I need to take into consideration and make sure that it's pitched somewhat properly. So when I took this out of the box, there was an electrical wire that goes from this unit to, I believe, again, haven't read the instructions yet, but this goes to the unit on the outside. So this will need to get run also down that wall and out to the back and into the little electric box and then into the unit. I'm going to show you how to wire this up maybe. So on the ends of these two wires, there's different kind of connectors. There's these type right here, like a circle and a little U job right there. And then on this side, there's these different ones. I don't even know. They're kind of like boat shaped. We're just going to guess, right? Makes sense. There's letters on these wires. Just match them up, right? Wouldn't you think that would be the correct thing to do? Loosen the screw a little bit. Stick it in a hole. I smell like a bar bathroom. I'm in a really bad position to take a break right now, as much as I'd like to. My house is in shambles, and I need to make it in a way so I can still live here. One little mistake can add hours to a project. Yeah, that's definitely what happened there. That needs to go back inside. Or, I'm sorry. So what happened is I screwed the green wire into the wrong hole. When I pulled it out, I pulled the clamping mechanism out, and I couldn't get it back in. So I'm assuming that these are just a connector in this direction. So what I did was I took this side out, which was the yellow S on the factory side, and I moved it to this extra one. This one is just sitting here. There's nothing in it. So I moved that to there, put this wire there. So I'm assuming that's correct. So if the whole thing doesn't work once I'm done, that's where my problem's at. But I think I figured out a solution to my problem. And there's this little protector that was on there. Put that back on. Got a feeling that I'm going to be messing with this later because I most likely screwed up. You don't want to bring this thing in this direction. That's going to cause a problem. You want to bring it backwards. And do it again. Oh, that's beautiful. Man, wait, why did I bend that when it wasn't in the wall? Stupid. I'm not full of the great ideas. That was the video fault, because if I didn't film that, it wouldn't have happened. Skill level 300. So I'm going to take a little break from that whole thing, because that is a, what's it called? Shit show. It's driving me nuts. I think I'm going to call in a plumber. I'm in over my head on that stuff. I'm going to run the lines, get it all wired up, have everything ready for the plumber, HVAC guy, whatever comes out, and have him hook the copper to the copper and hook this up to the unit on the exterior, and have him vacuum the lines. Again, I'm way over my head on this project, but there's certain things that I can do to save me some money, which I'm going to do. I'm just going to call a plumber and try to find an hourly rate and figure 3 or 4 hours to do this project is what it'll take them to do. at $100 an hour, $300 to $400. Not something I want to pay. So this video has officially become something that will take insane amount of months to actually finish because it's not a priority. It needs to be done before winter. So what is it, August 20th right now? This video is not coming out for like months. So this is the bracket I made. If you didn't watch this video where I made this thing, I will link it up there maybe. But I did make this thing to hold my split mini and some propane tanks. It is an eyesore. It's the ugliest part of the house, but I gotta put it. I can't get around it, so I've got it propped up on some blocks to kind of figure out where I want to put it. You can see that it's not flush with the bottom, and that's because if I ever go up a hill, I don't want it to get dragged and ripped off. So there's probably like a mathematical way of figuring that out. Like the bottom of the wheel to this corner to this should be in a nice plane, and you'll know that if this is up just like a little bit, it'll never drag. I'm just gonna guess and say it's about 6 inches. Makes sense, right? Let's see. Yeah, I'd say it's about 3 inches for it to drag. So I'm gonna go up about 6 or 7 inches. So I made this thing to fit inside this thing, so I'm just gonna center it up. So I got these 1/2 inch, 5 inch long lag bolts, galvanized so they won't rust. I'm gonna pre-drill a hole right here with a 3/8 inch bit. I know on the inside of here I have a 2x4 stud. When I made my corners on my house, it's gonna be solid, obviously. So let's start with this one. So this first one doesn't need to be perfect. I don't need to make sure that it's on a set thing. I'm gonna bolt this side in, get this number, and transfer it over to the other side and get that side perfect. Another reason why I hate battery operated tools. When you need them, they're not there for you. Oh yeah, and I did also pre-drill these holes with some metal drill bits. When you're drilling into metal, it's good to start out with like an 1/8 inch drill bit and work your way up by like 1/8, 1/16 inch each time. The bigger the hole goes, the tighter the increment should be. So don't jump from a 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch. Do at least 2 more drill bits in between there. It's going to prolong the life of your drill bits, and it's just going to be all around easier. And then I also drilled the holes out for the split mini right here. So hopefully I did my math right, and you'll see that thing mounted in here in a second. Wouldn't that be funny if water just started pouring out? No, it wouldn't be. It would not be funny. It would probably be the worst day ever. You see I got the cable wires hooked up? I thought he was going to put a box, but he didn't. So that looks good, right? And I did all that. I drilled those holes and I ran those lines because last thing I wanted him to do was to hit something that didn't need to be hit. And there was the water tank right on the other side. Those lines were a pain in the ass to run. Well, that just sucked it in. Oh, that's nice. Let's do the old OSHA standard testing. Oh my God, what are you doing, you dumbass? If it pulls out, that's just going to bend shit and break it. It's going to be bad. But that's good. I think that's good. Built well construction. That's pretty cool, isn't it? I'm excited about that. So I'm going to just measure this 7 3/4 it ended up being. And we'll shim this side up. 7 3/4. That's pretty damn close. 7 3/4. So I'm just going to look and use my trim as a straight line or straight edge, and I'm just going to make sure I got that same reveal right there. I had a drill bit. It was in this thing. It fell out though. I got it. I mean, they're brand new bits and they're already wobbling. Ridiculous. Ow! Loud in my ears. Does it need another OSHA test? I think so. I think so. Oh, that's solid. That's good. Hellfire. Yeah. Please fit. Please. Holes look good. Not that one though. So this is the other half of the split mini unit. I believe the fan side goes out. You want this to be at least a foot from the wall, which I did some math before I made this and made sure that happens. And then I also made this bracket so that all these plumbing parts and this thing was on this side. Didn't want to put it over there because that would have been more complicated. So that was the whole reason I had it on this side. Now, I didn't see any bolts that came with this thing, but it did come with some rubber feet, which are going to help with vibration and stuff like that. So I'm going to put those rubber feet under it. So I got to get some maybe 3/8 inch bolts to bolt this down. I'm also going to see if they have some type of like rubber washer. So I can put a rubber washer on the bottom and a rubber washer on top, as well as some galvanized washers and galvanized. All the stuff will be galvanized. And put that on there so it's nice and pretty, and it'll help with vibration. But that's pretty damn good. So now these lines, I'm thinking we'll run up like this and we'll do a sharp U and go back in. Maybe, hopefully. And then the electrical thing goes right here. So I got to take this off, which I'm going to do this part. Take this off and do the wiring job. So this was the biggest 110 volt system you could get from Pioneer. I'm not sponsored by this company, but I will give you a link to the website where I picked this up. It was pretty cool. I mean, very hassle-free. I called the customer service a couple times to get information about the unit, and it's all been pretty good. So I would, I'll support the company even though I'm not paid to. I'll never get paid to do anything. Come on, let's be honest. Let's be honest, Dan. So we'll jump back into this in a few weeks, but it'll be 2 seconds for you.